he was here for 4 years. He has the information about how basically Manchester City maybe do the same kind of fouls and time wasting and everything that Arsenal did against your team. So what do you think about that? Because he's your friend, he was your assistant. Seems a little bit of a betrayal of, I don't know, trust or information.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
What did he say
specifically? I was there for 4 years.
Yeah, you're right. And?
Well, it was to a question about his tactics and the time wasting, the sort of fouls. The implication was, he didn't actually say these words, but the implication was, yeah, I've been there for 4 years, and I know what goes on there. The same.
Well, next time Miguel has to be more clear.
May I ask you then, you're not aware of him saying that at all?
No, next time has to be more clear exactly what does it mean. What he said, he was here for years, and we know exactly what happened here. So because it can be related in all the process now with 155 charges, maybe it's about that. He knows the information about that, maybe, or maybe have something like, I don't know, because really next time I have to see more clear
well, this exactly is kind what of happened. The point. I think he said it in this way on purpose. I think he left it hanging to sort of cause people to think, oh, what does he mean, and maybe cause you
Okay, next time, like a good relation I have with him, hopefully this question has been asked. I can answer exactly what does it mean, what I said he was here, and I know what's happening here, and there's to be clouds there, to be more precise. And No, because we spoke with text after the game, and that's all.
Pep, just back on Rodri, you've had some big injuries before in your time here, and you've always managed to find solutions. Obviously, memorably, I think in the 18-19 season, you lost Fernandinho for maybe most of the last 3 months, and Gundogan came in there. It was great. You won the last final 14 Premier League games. Kevin, 5 months last season. Haaland 2. Lots of other seasons. Aguero. Do you feel though, with Rodri out for the whole season early on, that this is maybe going to be your biggest challenge in terms of finding a solution to a major injury to a key player in the 7 years you've had it?
Everybody knows, even our opponents, how happy they are. Everybody know in the mindset now realize that Rod is part of the fundamental for many things and many processes. That is the truth. But what can we do? We complain and say, I'm so sorry. When Roddy come back, we start to fight again. We have to find a solution as a team. Me as a manager to the players, okay, these are important players, otherwise we have not played them 1,000 million minutes that, played and consistent, is recovering and whatever. So, but we have to move forward, move on. So we cannot. So when we lose, it's because we have to find a way, and we are going to find a way. I'm so optimistic of myself and my team, and we are going to find a way. That's for sure. We're going to knowing that is an important player, but as you said, Fernandinho was in that time, and Sergio has won it many times, of Kevin have been out many times. Kevin was 1 year injured, almost 6-7 months. A lot of time injured, and he didn't play much, and we won again. So yeah, we have to find a way. We have to find a way to do it, because the team is good, the players are extraordinary in terms of mindset and togetherness, and we are going to try to do it.
Do you think it's quite important that over the next few weeks, especially, you show you can cope? Because opponents might look and see no Rodri, and that gives them a big lift.
No, I understand, for the opponents, I understand that, but we play 4 games this season without him, and we want it, and of course it's important, but even we won a lot of games, we will be missed. But we have to try to do it, and when we lose a game, okay, so we'll not be specific for Rodri. Rodri is replaceable for that. We have something that is difficult to find, but not here, in all around the world. So you said, okay, Pep, you have money to buy a player like Rodri. It's not in the market. This is really good. But it's what it is. I'm so sad for him, because nobody deserves it. He needs it. But it's what it is. I do. Hopefully surgery went well, and time, recovery, and with the players that we have, because this is the challenge, At the end, that team needs this type of challenge. The opponents, I said last press conference, so we don't expect everything will be smooth and comfortable and easy for everyone. There is no team that won't more beaten than us here in England. So we felt it, we smell it. That again, City, they don't like them, at all. So we expect that. Okay. So without the problem, okay, but let's go. Let's try it.
Hi Pep, is Erling all right for this weekend after going away this week? And he was pretty fired up against Arsenal on Sunday. Did you like that extra side of him?
I would say that sometimes the emotions are so there when you are, Gabriel said perfectly in the press conference, so after the match, so this is a war. We have here to provoke the opponent, to push them, and at the end, what can you do? So we have to, okay, you provoke me, okay, I'm there. You want a war? Now we war. So what that to do? And after the motions are the motions, so I'm pretty sure he's not proud, but listen, the type of challenge that Arsenal challenges, I understand it.
When you have such a big blow to a key player, I know it's obviously personally very, very sad for Rodri, but does it affect the morale of the overall group to lose someone so key for such a long time, and does it also affect your morale?
With Oscar, the morale when Oscar was injured in the preseason. Of course, Rodri is another step for what happened in these years, but when one guy is injured, we are so sad. But at the end, he knows we are there. Now we'll be a long time in Madrid, with family, recovery there, with the doctors, the physios there. When we come back here, with our open arms, we will be more than, we'll give him more than welcome to come back to us. But yeah, and after that, you have to, okay, what for game? We have to play, And now Newcastle, we're going to Champions League, and after Fulham home, and after we see what happens.
Because obviously it's one thing dealing with the Rodri missing the game in a physical sense, what he brings to a team, but how do you lift the dressing room that are having to deal with one of their key players?
We have a huge personalities in the dressing room, and Rodri is one of them by far, but other qualities, and everyone had to make a step forward. When you have this type of players, step forward to do it more. Is what it is. Everybody knows how important it is, how important Rodri is for us. Everybody knows it, but so that means we have to do extra, to replace this absence for a long, long time.
Pep, you were talking about about January earlier. How difficult is it going to be to find someone that is like for like that can play in that position? Because it seems like the club have been looking for 2 years.
Exactly. Right now, I'm not thinking to find anyone. But the scouting of the department from Chiqui, of course, they are always connected to the players. But we are 9 man. I don't find this team. But as I said, so until January have time, and maybe the situation. So I feel we need something, and maybe the opportunity is possible, not possible, and we will take a decision. So with Rodri fit, we'll not absolutely think about that. But now we see. Now I'm not able to take a decision right now. First, because it's not possible to do it, and second, because I want to see my team, how we react all together.
Do you think it's sort of long term towards, as we get into January, February, later on in the season, it's more likely that one of the existing players, someone like Bernardo Silva maybe, alters his position on a more permanent basis if you were to play sort of two in midfield? I
have solutions. Players can play in that position. Can play. There's the long balls, he's present to win the ball, the transitions offensive, defensive is the best. So we cannot. I said to the long balls, Rodri win now, we're going to lose. Lose, 10-10. With Joelinton tomorrow, we're going to lose. But it's not a problem. As much as far away, ready for the second big close Joelinton, we'll recover maybe 4, 5, 6 seconds later. Yeah. This is what it is. We have to adapt with the players that we have. And the other ones, they give us something and maybe Rodri don't have, Or maybe one cannot do it, we will put 2 players. Maybe we'll help, to do the process what they have to do. And that, when it's going to happen? When I'm going to see game by game and see what happened. Maybe we'll be late because we're going to lose a lot of games. I don't know. But at the end we are, 5 fixtures we play, 5 games. No, we played 5 games already, In Premier League? Is still 33, right? 33, huh? 33 left games, 99 points. So a lot of things going to happen.
Pep, obviously it's a very serious injury for Rodri. Like you said, I presume you've spoken to him this week, and how is he feeling?
Well, I spoke with him before, 2 days ago, before Watford, and it was a bit sad. But at the same time, okay, we're going to do it. It's happened, and what I said, when a game like an Arsenal game, and he make the gesture, to go out, knowing Rodri, that had to be something dangerous. Otherwise, he's stubborn. He would have stayed in the pitch. So when he went out, it's because he felt something that just the players felt it. Always were optimistic that the fact, okay, will be maybe less, but unfortunately it was the worst. And I'm going.
You spoke a little bit about Rico Lewis earlier, stepping into that position. Obviously, he's played a number of positions for you. What does that say about his intelligence, that he can, play in that sitting role as well as play at fullback?
Never played alone, but alongside to the other one, always play good and in positions more advanced, like attacking midfielder pocket. It's one of the best that we have, and so far. So except Arsenal game, a few more games he played in 45 minutes, seconds against Brentford, play all the minutes, and always have been the best. So that's why I say no, the replacement for Rodri Enrico, no. It's impossible. But he give us something alongside to Kova, or alongside to John, to Manu, with Gundo. At the end we can do things that maybe can work. We see.
Last two guys, one each for Sam and Michael, please.
Hi Pep, have the players done the vote for the captaincy yet? And if so, could you tell us who's in the group?
Kyle is the captain, vice-captain Kevin, Ruben, Rodri, Bernardo, Gundo.
So 6 players.
Yeah, because it was tight. It was too tight.
You're going to end up with 11.
No, for me it doesn't matter. As much they have, less problems we will have.
Back on the injuries, you've had 3 pretty significant injuries already this season. Obviously Nathan, Oscar, and now Rodri. You haven't had many injuries over the last couple of years, and we've spoken a lot about the number of games, the impact on the players. Do you think this is already a sign of the number of games players have had in the last couple of years?
It's not a muscular injuries like maybe this one is maybe my concern. This is the trauma from Oscar and the trauma in Rodri's. It depends because the fatigue, for tired, for Oscar was not tired. That is an action within the training session. So I would say Mo is unlucky, but I think all the clubs, in general, have a lot. But it's what it is. So we accept that and go. Thank you, guys.
Just one more on this debate that's been going on. For about a decade, if not more, Arsenal were consistently accused of being too soft. They'd go away, they'd lose, they'd be too weak, they'd roll over. And now it seems like you've been accused of being too tough, too streetwise, too dark. It's like almost that debate is flipped quite quickly on its head. I wonder if
That's not a debate. That's a war that you cannot win, no? Because this side I don't like it, this side I don't like it. So where do I go? So don't get involved in it. Doesn't make any sense. It's very clear. You look from outside and said, I'm not going to get involved here.
Does it bother you in any way that people talk about style as if it's a good thing or a bad thing, good versus evil?
No.
You just want to win? Just to win is all that matters.
I want to win the way we prepare the games and the way we want to play, for sure, in our way, but understanding the context. Because I want to wear flip-flops and shorts and T-shirts, but with this weather, I think I would be very silly to do that. I better get the umbrella. I say, Mika, what are you doing, man? No, but I'm very brave. Yeah, but tomorrow you are sick. So.
Okay, that will get on YouTube. And just on Neto.
Maybe Facebook.
just lastly on Neto, can you talk us through the process of how that deal got done? So it's very quick on the deadline day. Obviously, it seemed like you had to quickly shift to someone. How difficult was that?
Ask Edu, but he was very sharp on that. To be fair, the moment we got something else, he was already ready and busy trying to get that one in. And the next morning, basically, he was with us. So it was very fast. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go to Jordan.
Hi, Mika.
Hi.
This rivalry with City now is so intense and there's a lot of passion. Are you almost enjoying the fact that it's now got to this level? Because when you first joined, obviously Arsenal were miles away from even being and having a rivalry with City, but now the rivalry is really intense and aggressive.
Well, I prefer this much more than somebody clapping my back after the game saying, oh, well done, you guys are in the right direction, than seeing this reaction. Yeah, this is what I do,
So you'd rather be, say, hated than given a little tap in the back?
This is an emotion that I cannot control. What I have to be is as competitive as possible. The reaction of somebody else is different.
And just your relationship with Pep, you spoke about how it's so strong. But the longer this rivalry goes on, is there any danger of it being slightly damaged? Or because you've got so much love and respect, but if you want to keep beating him, naturally that may get affected.
Well, they beat us, no? They won the last Premier Leagues, and that relationship continues the same. So what has to change then that relationship to get deteriorated?
For you to beat him?
I don't think so. I don't think that would happen.
Okay, Ed?
Michael, yeah, in the last week, your team have shown a lot of toughness, as Sam mentioned. Do you think that's really necessary for a team to win titles, to have a bit of a nasty streak in them, not take anything?
A team has to control and dominate every single scenario. If you want to compete at the level that we are in against the opposition that we have, you have to be the best in the world at doing almost everything in football. That's the level, and that's what we have to try to do.
And is that something you've spoken to the team about, in the past, maybe when they were getting pushed around, and obviously your team is a lot bigger physically now as well. You can cope with that, teams try to wind you up in that way.
Well, that's just the physical aspect of the individuals, but I think it's more related to the mentality, to understanding the maturity, and how people confront the conflict and the challenges and different situations.
Okay, last couple. Yes, Sam?
I'm with Kieran Tierney. What's the situation with him at the minute? Since down the line this season, do you see him playing a part with the squad and team, playing wise this year?
Well, first of all, he needs to get fit. Obviously, he had a quite nasty injury. He's recovering. He's doing really well. He looks much better at the moment, but it's still a few weeks away. And once he's fit, we will see what his role in the team is.
There was a video recently of Trossard walking into the training centre with buckets, and there was a suggestion that might have been a punishment for his red card sending off against Man City. Is there anything in that, or?
I haven't seen that. No, at least it's not a punishment that I made him do. So I don't know what you're talking about.
And one of the final thing with Pep, he said obviously in his press conference recently that you and him have had a few text exchanges after the
Sorry,
game.
Isam, that question's been asked. I know you came in late.
Last night, so okay. Right, okay.
Yeah. So we'll finish with Hamza. Thank you. Cheers.
Good afternoon, Mikel.
Hello.
You mentioned the calendar and the fixtures. Obviously, there's been a bit of talk of player strikes recently. I was just wondering what your thoughts are on the matter and whether, if players went on strike, you'd support them.
Well, we always try to support the players, and I think they're raising their voices, and at least we have to listen to them. I can give my own opinion about certain things, but they are the main protagonists, or the only protagonists on this one, and they have to be heard, and let's see.
And just one more, you sort of mentioned tactics earlier. Just a question to you. You come up against low blocks quite often. For people that watch, what's the best way to try and break down a low block?
Great question. But, we would have to debate a lot of things here, because the first thing, who defends which spaces and with what kind of density, with height, with what formation, and then there are solutions. But there are solutions on paper, but this game is so unpredictable that to break them down, there are ways that they are not in the book. That's the nicest thing, I would say.
Okay, everyone?
Yeah, thank you.
No, and I think, again, I think unfortunately for us, not unfortunately, but I would have wanted to ease his sort of workload this early part of the year, but like I said, we lost Richie, then we lost Dominic, then we lost Wilson, and it's, again, invariably in football, sometimes it's not the amount of injuries, it's the kind of injuries you get. So he's played more than I think I certainly want him to, and the idea, like I said, signing Dom and bringing in Wilson and extending Timo's loan was that we could sort of give him manage his load, because he's got international football as well a little bit better, and and it's something that I'm mindful of. It's just the circumstances so far, and Sonny always wants to play. I mean, that's his attitude, but we've got to be sensible about it. And I don't think it's got to do so much with his age, because I haven't seen that affect him. It's more, I just don't think that kind of workload in the modern game is sustainable. You need to, we've spoken a lot about fixture overload. Well, and I think I said last week that part of that responsibility, I guess, lies with us whilst the calendar is like this, to try and protect our players, and certainly with Sonny we're going to have to be mindful of that.
And like you say, he would be of the mindset to want to play every game. So have you spoken with him about how together you can manage it rather than you just making decisions, or is it something you just do on your own?
Yeah, no, I tend to not make decisions by consensus. I think it gets a bit murky. Yeah. No, I know what you're saying, but I think, when you've got a player like Sonny, I think, I've had experience with guys like that before. They're always just going to want to play, and do I want to dull that competitiveness by having a reasoned discussion over him, with a cup of tea and saying, Sonny, this is going to be great for you, great for me? No, I'd rather I leave him out and he's disappointed with me, because I think that's what you want in him. And sometimes, it's like doing something for somebody's own good. I just think, that's my decision, my responsibility. I've got to take that on board.
And is there, just finally on this, is there a challenge therefore for the rest of the team and the squad to cope without him? Because he's such an influence, not just as a player, but as the character as well, and the leader on the pitch. Is there a challenge there for you to cope without him?
Well, I think there's an opportunity there, yeah, because I think that's what you want to try and create. I mean, it's why we've got this leadership group, is to see, well, who can step up in that kind of scenario, because it will happen from time to time. And I think that was a pleasing thing last night, that sort of, when he went off, Vic took the armband and he almost seemed to relish that kind of responsibility to grow. And sometimes you don't see these things unless there's opportunity. So there's definitely an opportunity there for us to show that we can sort of still be the team we want to be, even though he may not be involved as much.
Tom. Back to what you were saying about the spinning of the wheel and the pressure. Maybe you had a bit of it earlier this season. It feels like Eric Ten Hag has it every week, which must be quite tricky to deal with, always being in the eye of the storm. Can you give us an insight into what it's like to have to cope with that kind of scrutiny in 20%?
Oh, look, it's hard for me to say, because I think everyone sort of deals with it differently, but it is just, you have to understand that it's just, part of your existence these days as a manager. I mean, I don't know, coined the phrase that said it's the impossible job, but I think it's become even more impossible now, because it seems like, success is not enough if it doesn't have identity. Identity is not enough unless it's followed by, aesthetics. Aesthetics are not enough unless it's followed by legacy. There's always another layer that's, it seems like no one's doing a good job, unless you win the comp, and at the end of the year there doesn't seem to be any sort of understanding of progress or the circumstances that people have to work under at times. But it's just the nature of the role. So I don't think that's going to change. So I guess it's how you respond to it, how you react to it, how you let it affect you. I think the more experience you have, the better maybe you deal with these things. Although, maybe a young manager who's growing up in this maybe deals with it even better than somebody who's like me, sort of come through different eras of how managers are assessed.
And you mentioned about him winning a trophy in the last 2 seasons. He keep telling you that it's what you need to do. I mean, you've often consistently said it's about creating sustainable success where the team can compete at the top level. It's not just about winning a trophy. I mean, Man United, in a way, a bit of an example of that, because they have won a trophy the last few years, and yet it's not like a case to all ills, is it? It's constantly under pressure anyway.
Well, yeah, and I think if Eric hadn't have won anything last year, they'd be saying, he's just got to win something and everything will be all right. But I don't know. It's probably why I rail against it, because it's a trap you can fall into, to thinking, oh, well, all I have to do is win something and everyone's going to love me and everyone's going to think I'm doing a great job. But like I said, that doesn't exist. I think that's why, I keep saying the focus is try and build a group that can have the opportunity for sustainable success. I think you need to do that, because success isn't guaranteed. But if you can create something that gives you the opportunity for it on a year-on-year basis, then I think you've got more chance of kind of creating a period where the club can sort of undeniably see itself as a contender.
And just finally, Timo, who asked about him earlier, I think he made his debut against Man United last season. He's someone that, I think some of the fans can be a bit dismissive of his talents. You clearly back him back to a minute ago. Why do you think he is unappreciated?
Oh, mate, I've got no idea. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, it's a lot of it's just sort of, groupthink these days, of just people just. I don't know how many people actually watch. I think a lot of the opinions are just people who hear something and then pile on, and it becomes this. And how many actually watch? What they're giving an opinion on. Really detailed. So, if Timo's career ended tomorrow, he's had a hell of a career. Like, there's some substance there. It's not, so. He's a good footballer. He's a good international footballer. He's had, scored goals at the highest level. So that's why we want him part of our group. Now, okay, at the moment, people say, well, he hasn't really made an impact this year, but he hasn't played a lot either. So let's assess him, after he's had a decent run of games. But I don't know, like, why people, like I said, there doesn't seem to be any grey area. It's kind of black and white. You're either great or you're useless. And again, I think if you end up responding to that kind of stuff, as an individual, you'll go nuts, mate.
The red card obviously dictated things yesterday, but the camera panned to Lucas Bergvall after he'd been taken off, and he looked like he had tears in his eyes. Have you had a chance to, or will you get a chance to speak to him and sort of say to him, it wasn't your night, but opportunities will come for you in a Tottenham shirt?
No, but I think, he'll know that. As I said before, we entrusted him with starting a really important game for us, so he knows how we feel about him. So it's a tactical decision. He was disappointed. I expect him to be disappointed. But as I keep saying, that's he's going to have plenty of moments like that in his career. It's always about how you respond to those things, how you grow from those things, and. He was training this morning, mate, and he was flying. He was no problem, so he's all good.
And I just wonder, ahead of facing Manchester United, with these matches against traditionally the biggest clubs in the country, when you look at what you're doing with your project, are these sorts of matches quite good for you to judge as a barometer of how what the trajectory is looking like?
Yeah, for different reasons. I mean, I think. Every game's a kind of chance to measure your progress. But I think when you play against a team like United at Old Trafford, it's a good measure of sort of, because like I said, it's a unique experience of playing at such a venue with pretty vocal home support. So I think gives you an opportunity to see, how the group's progressing under those kind of circumstances and against a good opponent. So, like I said, I think the barometer's always there every game. I think last night we learned a bit about ourselves as well, and we learned a bit about ourselves on the weekend. So I think every game gives you that opportunity.
Finish with Matt, please.
One more on Sonic, if I may.
You
would
may.
you feel like asking him to stop playing for South Korea?
Oh, mate, no chance. No, because I think, again, I understand how important it is for him. I mean, we can look at these things in sort of just the cold, harsh light of, his club football will benefit if he doesn't play for his country, but one day he won't be able to play for his country, and the last thing I'd want is for him to have regrets that he missed out an opportunity to play as much as he could and represent it. So, but I think all these decisions are better off being left to the player themselves, because they know themselves, how they're feeling about their career. It doesn't matter how long you play for. The lifespan of a professional footballer is still fairly short in terms of how long you live your life. So that time you have, you want to try and get as fulfilled as you possibly can. You're trying to create as much of a basket of memories as you can, because one day you won't have that opportunity. So I would never be the one to say to him, look, for selfish reasons, for us as a club, it'd be great if you didn't play for your country. I just wouldn't do it.
Can I ask about Old Trafford as well?
Yeah.
Would you still feel like going to Old Trafford if the stadium was 500 yards to the left?
And not called Old Trafford? I don't know. Good question. I mean, I guess we went through it. And it's probably, I'm probably not the right person to ask. It's probably the question for sort of Tottenham supporters or Tottenham people to say, well, does the new stadium feel the same as the older? It's hard to say. I think the way football's going, there's an inevitability about it in terms of clubs, building new stadiums, just purely on, economics more than anything else. And you'd like to hope that within that context that it still maintains some of the magic that exists within, the old sort of stadium, the old arena. But no, hard for me to say, mate. Don't know.
I know you're busy on match day with what matters, but do you go to these places, sort of look around and think, sort of breathe in the history?
Yeah, I do, definitely, mate. I keep saying I'm still a fan. I still love the game. So, I mean, anyone who's seen me will know that every time I go into a away venue, the first thing I do is walk out on the pitch before everyone's in the stadium, irrespective of what stadium it is. But obviously, certain ones have more significance. And I just for that moment, just do it, breathe it in, and say, well, one day I can sit back in my lounge chair and kind of think, I had a walk around, that stadium, and hopefully have a good memory because we won. That's the main thing. But I still. I love the sense of history and tradition because it's what gave me my love of the game.
Which do you like best, Andrew?
Which one?
Which do you like best? Which lived up to you?
The Maracana. We played Manchester United there when I was South Melbourne. Old stadium, like falling to bits, but just it was heaving by the time we got out there with fans and just thinking of the Brazilian team, the Pelé, and like just the games that had been played in there, and the fact that it hadn't been redone probably still had that history around it. It gave me goosebumps walking out there.
Which one doesn't exist anymore? Which you like to come? Sorry.
Don't apologise, mate. A question without notice. I think for a game, maybe the old Wembley. Yeah, because again, I grew up watching FA Cups and stuff, and by the time sort of I got here, that was gone. Was it?
That really was falling apart.
Yeah. Well, that's burst my bubble. I'll think of something else.
I don't know if you clarified this, but with Sonny, you said he was tired yesterday. Is it a specific injury, or is it just tiredness?
No, he sort of felt fatigue sort of in his hamstring. That was the reason he went down. But, whether that's an injury or just fatigue, we just got to wait and see.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.